Hello. Is that better? Good, thanks, isn't it? Speak fast. So, welcome everyone. So excited to be here today. This is our big out party. You probably haven't heard who podcast is before. I'm sure some of you know now what we are. We, you know what we are. We are the world's first and only global platform of pre-verified businesses. We're not advertising based, so we're not like Googling someone or finding a new supplier or buyer on Google, etc. We have the most comprehensive data set available on businesses across the planet, and by the end of this year, we'll have coverage of every business on the planet in our platform. You can see some of the logos here, two of our distinguished investors and partners in MasterCard and Equifax. I'm going to bring on some folks from those two companies. They've been wonderful partners and they've helped make the Marquez journey a reality in terms of where we are today. But I want to share with you a little bit about why we did this, why we're here. We and we started this journey well before COVID hit some years ago. We previously built a platform to connect suppliers and buyers on fundamental issues between each other that were really unsolved. And so when we started Marquez, we really spent a lot of time with small businesses around the world, including very heavily here in the United States. By the way, we have full waves of research with small business during COVID. And we asked them, what they were struggling with, what the challenges they were facing were. And several things became reality in that conversation. One is they said they were drowning in point-to-point solutions. Most small businesses subscribe to about 25 different solutions that they use to run their business. Those solutions don't talk to each other. And most small businesses told us that they use less than 10% of the feature functionality of those solutions. Big problem number one. Problem number two is small businesses spend at least 17 days a year verifying who they are, verifying themselves so that they can get access to cash flow loans, they can get access to insurance, they can get access to lots of other things. 17 days a year on average. In fact, we've heard statistics recently that go as high as 33% of their time is spent just verifying themselves everything they need to do. You all know it. Any of you who are small business owners, you all know the last time you went to sign a lease or sign up a new supplier, they either asked you to pay up front for the products you were going to sell, pre-fund, prepay, etc. because credit models, frankly, were very challenging mid-COVID. A lot of suppliers went broke, etc., etc. I want to put a dollar value on that problem of verification. Conservatively, it's about $1.7 trillion a year of inefficiency. That's time that's lost by small businesses verifying themselves instead of doing this. So when we founded Marquez, it was really to address material pain points today and in the future that small businesses have. And we've started with three very specific things. How to verify who you're doing business with in the most complete way in the market today, number one. Number two, how to get into a thoughtful, monitoring relationship with who you're doing business with. So if things change, you got to know about it early and you can work through it early. So no nasty surprises. We heard so many stories, and I'll share some with you throughout the course of the day, of businesses who said, I was doing business with this guy or with this gal, I paid them up front for stuff and they disappeared. I can't believe how often that happens. Point number three is in terms of how small businesses pay and get paid. Significant issue. We all know, those of us who run small businesses do not have their funds nicely in one bank account, and that's where they pay their bills from. You don't do that. Use Air Miles, use your personal credit cards, you borrow money from friends, do all sorts of stuff to get your business by. We've created the first ever environment that allows you to legitimately bring all those sources of value together in one place, unlock the working capital that comes from that, and be able to access even better cash flow payment solutions than you've had in the past at the lowest possible cost. And that's where we're starting with Marquez. The call to action is very simple. It's not to make your business. It's not to sign up. It's not to get another sign up like the 25 that you already have. It's not claim your business. You're already here. The rest of the world sees you in our directory. Come claim your business. Come update the elements of your business that need updated because this is publicly available data about your business. You own it and make sure the world sees you in the best possible light. So that's where we start. We know this last year and a half, 2 years, COVID has been in business. We know that. We walked in your shoes. We know how difficult it's been to go apply for PPP loans, particularly if you're a minority business. God help you if you were, a minority business that was not male owned or whatever. God help you. We know how difficult it is. And so the fact that you're here today, the fact that you're at this event, you want to stay in business or you've just gone into business for yourself and you're thinking about how the best possible way for you to accelerate the growth of your business. So, with that said, this lady over here, we've seen her around the place. She's my co-founder, Lady Hudson. She's the glue that keeps our company together with me. And you'll see her everywhere. So say hi to Fabi at some point. There's lots of wonderful people in the audience. Some of our fabulous team are here. Some of our partners are here. And with that, on that note, I'm going to introduce two very special people to you. I'm going to introduce Ginger Siegel, a woman on the end there. Ginger runs small business for MasterCard, and I will tell you they're the most progressive company thinking about the space. She'll tell you a little bit about the cool stuff they're doing and why they're so excited about MasterCard. And Jennifer Austin, who heads products and services at Equifax, who also is another incredible company doing so much for small business, more than you know. So I'm going to invite these two, as much as they didn't want to take these chairs, I'm going to invite them onto the stage here and have them both tell you why they're so excited to be here today, with the cool stuff they're doing for small businesses, and why they're partnering with them right now. So maybe Ginger, we'll start with you. Tell the folks who you are, why you're excited to be here, why did MasterCard invest in podcast, and all the cool stuff that you guys are up to.
Thanks, Hanny. Hi, everyone. I think, can you hear me? Because this is like awful. As Hanny said, I lead small business for MasterCard. I have been devoted to small businesses my entire career. And what I know about small businesses, whether it was pre-COVID or now, is that small businesses do not have the resources that larger companies do. You don't have chief marketing officers, chief risk officers, you don't have CFOs. And so our belief is that we have to band together to create an ecosystem that will help small businesses with all of their needs and pain points. Things like operational efficiency. How do we help you with your time management? How do we help you with access to capital? How do we help you with customer acquisition? So we don't believe if you build it, they will come. We do research every day to understand what is in the minds and hearts of small business. And where we came to is that, especially due to COVID, small businesses needed help with digitization. They need help with access to capital. Not just borrowing, but they need help getting their own money in. 75% of small businesses still use manual invoices, right? And so that is why we partnered with Equifax and Marquez, because we believe in the tools that Marquez have to really put small businesses into the center of supply chain, into the center of being able to prove and show their worth, their abilities to pay back loans. So we're pretty excited about that. And then later today, I'm going to be talking more about our digital doors, which is a program to actually help small businesses get online. Another scary stat, of the 30 million small businesses in the U.S., when COVID hit, 9 to 10 million did not have a digital online presence. And so as we continue to morph into this new age, consumers are shopping differently, they're buying differently, they're paying differently. How do we help small businesses get into that era? And so I'm going to turn it over to my illustrious colleague from Equifax here, so she can talk a little bit more. But it's really great to have you here.
Ginger. Speak loudly or try to speak loudly. Jennifer Austin, Equifax, representing the commercial team, and said here a minute ago. And we also are equally excited to be here in terms of the combination of the power of the platform and what that is enabling for small businesses and actually master. So you may know Equifax as the company that empowers the consumer credit report. And you may know a little bit about what that does for you if you're in the hunt for a new mortgage or a new auto loan. But we are much more than that. So at Equifax, we're really about enabling financial welfare for consumers and small businesses globally. And with that, we take a very unique position around data and analytics and empowering that in the marketplace to make the ecosystem grow. Really focused on small businesses and key things we hear today around enabling you to get access to capital quicker, enabling you to get customers in the door faster, and enabling you to get paid. Those are three key things that we focus on, and we are very excited about the power of this platform to enable you to get some of those data points that maybe historically large corporations had access to, which increased reference to some of the roles and titles and responsibilities larger firms have that now things that are going on. And you can empower and take charge of your own business through the marketing platform. So we will be here all day as well today. We're happy to share with you about the data and analytics and how you can empower and all of this for your business within the marketing.
So one of the things I want to thank these two great partners, these two ladies very particularly, and these guys over here, Equifax guys, Brian Holland and Patrick Moho, say hello guys. They're here in force. One of the things you would know, and I think Jennifer just said something really important. A lot of the tools that are available on Marquez were hard to find for small business previously. They were usually reserved for enterprise-grade clients, financial institutions, telecom companies, insurance companies, etc. And each time we approach one of these organizations, either to do business with them or to get a product or service from them, they ask you to provide a ring of things, to verify who you are. And the sad truth of the market today, with the number of failures, you will know, 60% of suppliers failed during COVID, which is really tough. It made it very difficult for large businesses to want to do business with small businesses. Really tough. And very candidly, what they said to us is it's just as difficult to do business with the large companies as with a small company. So by default, I'm going to do business with a large company. We want to change that dynamic for you guys. We want to make sure that you have equal footing and you are presented in equal positive light to those large enterprises as any other large enterprise they want to do business with. Both of these companies are like-minded, kindred spirits in terms of this journey, in terms of what we're doing. They both said, yes, we will bet, we will believe, we will partner with you, we will provide these services through Marquez to the market. And candidly, you can come to Marquez in three different ways. Number one is your financial institution, an insurance company, a telecom company, big enterprise you do business with, they introduce you to Marquez. That's route number one, where they will be able to come in and say, hey, I've planned your record for you, here it is, go ahead. Route number two is you can come to us directly, which makes us a little unusual. You can come directly to Marquez. You see our website everywhere. You can sign up out here, sign up after this event, whatever. Route number three, and it's the one that we really are measuring ourselves by, is that you love it so much over the next months, where we'll be introducing a significant number of features, including our all-in-one dashboard, which will be your new command center for running your business and accessing all the fabulous tools that these folks have shared with you. You'll find that in your dashboard. Because you'll love it so much and you'll want to be confident who you're doing business with the click of a button, you'll be able to say that who you're doing business with using your markets. And you'll be able to invite them to connect with you there. Then you can get in trust relationships with who you're doing business with. You can monitor each other, you can reduce your cost of payments, you can access better cash flow tools, etc. That's how we will feel good about that when you all start inviting others that you do business with to meet you. Not because it's advertising or paid advertising, but because you like it enough to tell other people this is where I want to do business with you. That's our high bar, guys. Help us get there. It's good for you. We're not advertising based. We're not advertising funded at all. So I want to thank you two ladies. A lot of the tools they mentioned will be available on Marquez. Some of them already are. There's more to come in the future, but this was our way today of coming out and saying, hey, we're doing this really, really big thing together that has never been done before. So thank you, Ginger. Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks, guys, for joining us today. I'm going to take questions, yes, to anybody. You have to bring it up close.
Well, one of the critical cases is I, in my particular case, I had a company, not doing the business, I had a company to locate my city, and they asked me for 50% upfront. And then they took the money and ran away. That's exactly what it is. How
Such a
do you,
good story.
how do you deal with that? Do you deal with that?
So I'm going to ask Jennifer to help me with this question a little bit. But on Marquez, you'll be able to find suppliers to do things for you, like the company you wanted to locate your business. You'll be able to see how long they've been in business. You'll be able to see quite a lot of data about them. You'll be able to even see an indicator that says how likely is this company to go out of business in the next 6 months. So it's not just for today, but it's for the future. And you'll be able to invite them to connect with you on Marquez before you part with any of your money, so that you can actually then start to say, I want to monitor these aspects of your business. We'll facilitate that for you, but you'll be able to say, I want to connect with you here, and these are the things I want to monitor. They can say yes or no to you about those monitoring requests. Some things, if they're publicly available or if they're in our data set, we can share with you automatically. If they're non-public items, I typically what we call consented data, you have to get their permission. But once they give it, we provide you with reporting as frequently as you want. You might say event-based. You might say if this changes, I want to know immediately. You might say I want to monitor this or this, and then they'll be able to do that to avoid exactly that situation that you said. And then last but not least, um, it's not live yet, but it's coming thanks to our friends at Mastercard. You will soon be able to transact in a way where you effectively provide payment guarantees on the platform without having to part with your money. So the funds will actually be held in escrow. Now, the reason they ask you very specifically to pay up front is they don't believe you're going to be able to pay. In the Marquez environment, we'll be able to say, yes, the funds are there, they're in escrow, and they will be unlocked once the service is provided. We will provide that payment guarantee. So it's not your exposure, it's a guarantee on the service. And then once you both agree that the service has been provided or the product delivered, we will then unlock the payment on your behalf. That's what's going to change what you said. Jennifer, I don't know if you want to add any of that.
Well, I would just say, back to our point earlier, that large corporations, a big piece of what they do is manage their given to supply aspects of things. Taking a historical look at projecting future outcomes of the health of these businesses, how they performed historically, and are they going to be a reliable supplier in the future. So things like you're representing, unfortunately, we can't live for the last 18 to 24 months, right? So having a way to bring insights about how they performed historically and some analytic tools around what that means for the future, if we could make smarter decisions about who needs to be involved with this.
Hi, nice meeting you guys. I run a procurement company. One of my concerns, my major concern is vetting people, vetting my clients. When they come to my website to place an order, tell me what they want. I give the service at the client's request. So when they request, I search the product, I get it to them. Well, I am in charge. So you have to come through me, and I am vouching for you and the company I'm buying from. Now, the customer's information, when they leave Visa, how is it stored? So where is the information? Where is the information stored?
It's a great point. So the sequence goes like this. We have about 200 data elements per business on the Marketplace platform. I'm not exposing them yet. But we have more data than anybody else in the market about those businesses. The good news for you is you actually don't need to keep the data on your system. You can access it real time on the Marketplace platform. If it's public data or it's in our data set, you can access all the things that Jennifer said or the examples I gave. Now, let's say you want something from that company that isn't public, it's private, like their last tax return, or right, or their insurance coverage, or their utility, the last 5 utility bills, or the EIN, exactly. All those items are going to be in what we call the private vault. So every business on the platform will have two vaults, two very secure vaults. One is their public data, these 200 elements, and the other is a private vault, where businesses will keep all those things like tax returns, EINs, insurance, all the things that are non-public. And then you will be able to say to those people, meet me on Marquez. It will only take you 2 or 3 minutes to upload their record. You'll already see them because you're going to see every business. So it's not like anyone's going to be missing. You'll see them. You'll say, meet me on Marquez. It'll send a link to them that they just click on and take them to Marquez. They finish their verification process like you did. Now you know they're verified. Now you're both on the platform. Now you can say, I want these artifacts, these 4 or 5 items. I'd like them. And you have a choice as to how you want those. You can say, I just want to know that those things are valid in your vault, or I'd like a copy. If you keep a copy, then you have the responsibility of keeping those artifacts secure. I don't think you want that. That's not the way of the future. You want us to send you a token that says these artifacts exist, they're current, and if anything changes, please update. That's where we're going. That's better for you. That's more secure, and you can say to these companies, when any of those things change in your profile, you can say to Marquez, I want an update. Or when the next tax return is launched, I want to be notified of that. And that's bilaterally agreed between the two. We won't interfere with that. We'll facilitate what we both agree based on the consent you've given each other.
Now, let's say I do a business with a company, and business is done. 5 years along the line, they come back. Do they have to go through the process again? They don't have to.
No, once you've claimed your record, as long as you remain active on the platform, you're active. It's not a one-time event. It's you claim your business once. Oh, if they go out of business, if there's a new entity, then they have to do it. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If they go out of business, but if they remain in business, you only do it once. Yes. Yes, we do have a fee. Our proposed fee is probably the lowest subscription in the market today. It's $49.99, which is ridiculously low compared to the sort of numbers we're talking about. Depends how you come to Marquez. In some cases, there'll be promotions and incentives. We've heard from some banks that banks are going to pay on behalf of their customers, but it's a small fee.
So my question is around because I'm in the field obviously that has to and most of the HIPAA compliance that you have to deal with are really geared, as you said earlier, to more enterprise. So the astronomical amounts seem like thousands of dollars come up. So how to deal with the HIPAA issues.
Get ready to say.
Awesome.
So we were from the get-go, before we put a single line of code, we made sure we were GDPR on this platform from the get-go. These organizations don't put their names to things that not only meet those standards, but go through them. And you can imagine what we went through with both of them to get to where we are today. So yes, we hear you. We know that's very real. And our objective is to be the single source of truth for this information with full compliance, HIPAA, GDPR, on your regs, etc.
Because believe it or not, I mean, there's so many documents that get passed back and forth that
That's why the beauty about Vault becomes you load it in the Vault once, and then you can actually share it either as a token that just says it's in the Vault and it's secure. If you actually need to share the document, you can push the document out on the secure links, or you can set up a share with it. It's highly at your discretion.
okay, thank you.
It's next to the
So I can really see how the value of this would be great for startup SMEs to prove that they have the ability to go out and meet this type of business. Do you have any plans to help brand new businesses?
So when we built this, people asked us, "Who is your target audience? What's the size of the business that's relevant?" Here's the good news: we built this. Whether you've been in business one day and you're a one-man operation, or you've been in 4 year Macy's, everything from the smallest business to the largest is in our directory. In fact, if you go on Marquez, you'll see every business. If you go look up Macy's, if you go look up MasterCard, if you look up Equifax, you'll find them in the directory. The smaller businesses, the new ones. So a little fact here, and I'm going to ask Jennifer to keep me honest with this. You have to have been in business a certain amount of time to hit a threshold where you appear, for instance, in Equifax's data or in some of the other bureau data. What we're doing, because we wanted to include everybody in this platform, we are huge on inclusion and huge on leveling the playing field. We're adding Secretary of State data to this platform, which means as long as you're a legal business, as long as you've registered that business, you may have done nothing with it. You may be 1 day old and a sole proprietor. As long as one of the Secretary of State bodies in America, I'm speaking about the US initially, has given you a verification that you're a legitimate business, you're going to be in our directory. And all the things that are available to Macy's or Equifax or anybody else are available to you as well, and at the same cost. You are next. I'll come back to you in a second.
The way how I understand this is that market is like Facebook or business.
No better. Let me tell you why.
The financial aspect of it.
It's more than financial. It's much more than financial. So we are not a credit or a company. We are so much more than that. People try to put a label on us. We're not a SaaS company. We're not a data company. We're not a finance company. We're not a payment company. But we bring the best of all of that together. We bring the best of all of that together for you. So so one of the things on Facebook or LinkedIn or many of those other social media channels is you can put anything you want on it. There's no verification at all. You're trusting on what people say about themselves. Marquez is fundamentally different because we've sourced our data from the most reliable sources in the market, and we spend a lot of money verifying not only the data about the business, the owners of the business itself. We do checks that are at bank level, so things that you might not know about that are important in business, like anti-money laundering, KYC, sanctions, etc., etc. We have all that data, and so for you to have information on Marquez, it needs to be verified. That's what sets us apart from the Facebooks and the LinkedIn's and the Google searches, etc., where you can literally find anything about anyone. We've gone very considerable expense to build an environment that is pre-verified and robust, and it stays that way.
Another quick question. I work for a cleaning company, cleaning companies, right? And our responsibility is to ensure that at the end of the tax season, that we're selling order.
Yep.
My suggestion is if the accountant of a particular business
So we actually very shortly will have a On the dashboard, which you haven't seen yet on the website, it's coming very soon. On the dashboard, there will be lots of links. So a lot of the resources that these great folks have. So Ginger mentioned digital doors. Um, Jennifer mentioned a number of services that Equifax provides, things like credit builder, etc. They will all be on the platform. Now, on the accounting point, this is a very good one. I like it very much. I'm glad you brought that up. We will have a bi-directional interface where you can connect your accounting software from the Marquez platform so that you can actually see what's going on in your books. And more than that, any activity you conduct through Marquez, you can write to your accounting system automatically. Now, at the end of accounting season, in fact, one of our early partners was BDO, one of the accounting firms. And they said to us, and we know this because we actually went through this personally, for an accounting firm to onboard a new client, it takes on average 45 to 50 days. It's very, very expensive and it's a challenge. Where they got excited about Marquez is that client can basically say, give their accountant permission to access all their information that they need for their conflict checks, etc., and then again through Marquez provide that interface to their accounting software. Real life story. We had several different accountants when we were building Marquez. We went through several different companies and we outgrew them, etc. Every time we did, the new accounting firm, hey Jeff, how are you? Okay. Every time we went to a new accounting firm, they said, "Oh no, you have to use the version of our software, or you have to change from zero to QuickBooks because we like QuickBooks or whatever." The beauty with Marquez is you do it once and it stays current all the time. So I love that question. Again, we're big on reducing the burden that businesses face, whether it's a tax season, whether it's doing business with suppliers or buyers, whether it's connecting with their bank, whether it's applying for loans or insurance, etc. In fact, I will tell you, most of the financial institutions and insurance companies have said to us, if I give you my approval criteria, can you make sure people have this information before they click and come to my site so that I can approve it instantly? That's very cool. We like that a lot. So that's the direction where we're going. It's the same. There's artifacts in your accounting system. So if someone wants to see your P&L or your cash flow or last month's ledger, you can give that permission with a click and we can pass that on. Yes, you can do that today. Actually. You can verify businesses today. Not only can you verify, but you can follow them as well. You just have to come subscribe to the platform, verify yourself. Yeah, verify yourself, and then you're able to look at other businesses, whether they've claimed their business or not. You'll be able to verify them and monitor them. But if you want to get into a bilateral monitoring relationship where you want to ask for non-public data, they have to claim their business as well. So you will invite them to meet you. Yeah. Well, you had a question.
Okay, it's an academic question. It's going to be a challenging question.
Please bring it on.
Okay, what about if it's a business is drug dealer or marijuana dealer or food? How can they go to your site?
Brian, I'm going to ask you Patrick to answer that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And I will be speaking soon. My name is Brian Holland with Equifax. You absolutely can. So, according to what we call AML, it is an active stance type listing that looks at your business. Within the negative news, we actually look at marijuana dispensaries, other things that might be illegal federally, but maybe by state regulated differently. And so we will actually highlight and call those nuances out associated with those businesses. So the data is there today, actually.
And Bobo, go ahead.
I was going to say, we'll talk a little bit here in a few minutes about the unveiling. So, what's behind Marquez in terms of the data, the foundation, and how we are connecting the dots as a team. between all of us. So,
And by the way, you'll hear a little bit later from Ron Hellwacher from Risk Recon, the MasterCard asset, about how they screen and how they provide verification to your questions. So we're very alive to that. Before we ever put a single line of code, we wanted to think about all those questions and identify those issues. So we're not only verifying the business. This is important for you. I love your question. We're also verifying the people behind the business. So it's not just the business, it's who's behind the business and the person, exactly. Or the people.
and I would say other entities associated with that business.
Yeah, related
So,
entities.
like a law firm.
Yes.
That's right. The law firm, you have 4 or 5 firms. So
Yes,
you can
exactly.
see each
Yes,
one
exactly.
how they're tied to that business.
And that's the first time that's ever existed. We've been available to small business.
So big ideas are open to the business that they would use it for somebody.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You're a good group. Good questions. I really love them. Fantastic. Anyone else got any questions? Comments?